This is where it all started. I was having a good time, hanging out with my friends, when this fine young brother walks over to me and asks for my digits. We start hanging out, having a good time. A few months later, in a club, pregnant. After birth, it felt like it was just me and my son. Good times, bad times. Still had the club, of course. Let me tell you how I navigated my storm. Listen. Here it's Raven, and we are here to chat again about something that has been heavy on my heart. Of course, here I have my lovely agua and aloe vera juice with a lemon twist tonight. Last time it was pomegranate, but this stuff is delicious. So we are talking about single mom life tonight, as I said we would last time. So I broke it down to a few brackets for you all. So we have, how did we get here? We have, what does it feel like being here / postpartum depression? Then we'll dive into career, job, family life. I just put that into one. Then we go into dating. Then we will move into independence. Is that a good thing? Is it a bad thing? How do we let go of it? And also graduating from single mom life. So I speak about this from my personal experience. So of course, how did we get here? We know how we got here. We were doing the sex. But of course, there's more to it. So before we got there, my roots from Chicago. I grew up in a single family home, so a lot of my friends, a lot of people in my family, they were common law married. So it was pretty much, we've been together long enough, we shacking up, we together. But not a lot of weddings and things like that. We had a few, but it was probably a little later in my life, and it was, as we would say today, it was unicorn status. So, how did we get here? Misguided, just doing different things. I was new to the military, I joined the military, and was away and on my own, and I was in a club. I saw him, he saw me. Next thing you know, it didn't really happen like that, but we got a little blessing out of it. And so we were, pretty young, away in a whole nother city, away from my family, away from my friends. And of course, I was probably one of the few friends, not a lot of us had kids already. So it wasn't like I had a bunch of people to talk to about that, but a few of my military girlfriends, we were able to relate because unfortunately we were going through similar instances. And so I can remember waking my son up sometimes just to talk to him. He was fresh off the pot, had just finished baking, and I had got that thing out the oven, And so I would wake him up and he would just be laying there, sleepy neck, how newborns are. And a few months old, I can't really remember, but just talking to him about different things, about how I was feeling, because I needed to talk to somebody, said that. And then Lawrence Hill X Factor, that got me through a lot. I just had to just cry it out, and actually that used to make him smile. So he would be crying, I was nursing, I was in the house by myself a lot of times. I had a good girlfriend and her husband that used to check up on me. And also I had a village of my son's paternal side of the family. They're amazing people. And so they would help me through the whole situation, the individuals that I named, the groups of people that I named. But that's what it felt like to be a new single mom in a new area, and lack of support. Postpartum depression is real. And what does that feel like? It feels like thinking you're not enough, thinking, just overanalyzing, just feeling like, oh my God, am I gonna be a good mom? There's no manual to this. And when you're a first-time parent and then you're young, everybody wants to give an opinion. Listen and do what you need to do. You will learn trial and error. A lot of it was, okay, he good, he fine, or will this work for this person? Maybe this will work for my baby. So sometimes it's just instinct, it's just good. But just getting back on track, that's what that felt like. I'm so glad I'm past that, because there's a lot of times where in that moment it feels like it's gonna last forever. Goodness, you just wake up like, oh my God, this is real. This little person is really dependent on me. And so then we move into careers, job, family life. I group that all together. So family life is in, the friends are included. I wasn't able to do a lot of different things that I wanted to do initially, because you got to be able to trust people with your child. And then with your career, it's like, the military was like, this has to come first. This is what you have to do. I deployed for the first time. A deployment is where you go out to sea, where you're gone. It's not like a cruise ship, so don't get them too mixed up. It's not. So you're out to sea, you're on a mission, you're going different places. And back then, I don't think we were really doing video chatting and things like that. This was more than 10 years ago. So leaving a 6-7-month-old child, your first child, it was hectic, which made my postpartum depression spike back up. It's not something that just goes away all of a sudden. Your child is 6 months old, or you're in a good space, because you can be in good space today, and the next day it's like, how did I get here?
Mommy,
what's up, baby? Yes, give me a moment.
Okay. Mommy.
That's my littlest blessing. It's number 3. And so, dating. Oh, so this is a very serious one, and it sits right here heavy on my chest, because you have to watch who you have around your kids. Your priorities as far as leisure, mama gotta have a life too. A lot of things stop, and you can't be so anxious like, well, I deserve this, or your child didn't ask to be here. We didn't ask to be here. We didn't choose the families that we have, and some of us have some really great families, some really great individuals in the family, or we have some friends that become family. But as I was saying, dating life, sometimes that has to be put on hold for single moms. And you would think, oh, well, when the kid goes to sleep, or I could just drop them off to my friend's house. Not all the time. So when I was 6 or 7 years old, I was molested. And so this was by somebody who was in the family, and a lot of times we don't talk about those things, and we just try to move forward. But I feel like we have to talk about these things in order to heal, in order to hash it out. So I recall growing up, it was some of my girlfriends' moms, we would all be over there hanging out, and that was just the thing that we did. And so now I prefer that at my house, because I can at least see my son, I can at least see their friends, and I know that they are okay. I have control over my domicile. And so sometimes you just have to hold those things off as far as dating, and just wait, just wait till you get a good village, or just do things in moderation, or just don't have your kids around them. You can't do that. You really can't. When I was a single mom, I can count the number of guys that actually met my son, because sometimes you knew what it was, you knew it wasn't serious, or some people just try to play games in order to, get your time. No, don't play with your kids. It's not worth it. So then we're moving into our next bracket. Our next bracket is independence. So, Boosie had a song back in my clubbing days, INDEPE, you know it. I just don't want to misspell it. It used to be my song. I used to be out there, not in these streets, I would have a good time. And so we had the independence one, and then we also had Neo Miss Independence. And so with those, it was pretty much glorifying being independent. So the lyrics, she got her own house, she got her own job, cook, work hard, maybe I'm mixing up the lyrics. It's been a long time since that song came out. But it was glorifying that she had all these things. And so a lot of women, it was not easy for them to submit or to accept when they had a good thing in front of them, because they were so used to being independent. He want to buy me a drink. I'm independent. He want to give me some gas in my car. No, you might not be independent then. He want to take me out to dinner. You gonna eat that food, right? Because I know I was taking dinners to Carrabba. Carrabba was my spot. So the independence sometimes does not allow us to receive the blessing that may be right in front of us to allow us to graduate from that area of single mom status. And sometimes you may harbor those feelings from a previous relationship, and now you're just like taking it out on the next person. So independence is overrated. It's not really the move. It is great if you gotta do it. A saying that would get on my nerves, it would irk my nerves. I'm the mother and the father. You are not. Single moms are not the mother and father. Single dads are not the mother and the father. There are things, there are characteristics, there are innate abilities from the different sexes, from the two sexes, that provide something different to a child. So to take away something from the other parent and say, I'm the mother and the father, just because that person may not be present, and it may not even be by choice. It could be that they're deployed as well, or whatever instance you could think of. Deceased, they are incarcerated for something that they were wrongfully accused of. They are not present. You can never take their place. You can never take their role. So if you are one of those people that say, oh, I'm the mother and the father, you sound crazy. You sound stupid. So I'm just gonna say that. And we were moving into graduating from single mom status. So in order to graduate from single mom status, you have to look at yourself and see what type of energy are you exuding. How is your spirit? Have you dealt with the issues that you may have had, whether it be family issues, whether it be abandonment issues, issues from a previous relationship, severing soul ties, or just dealing with those soul ties, taking on other people's problems and trying to push that into this new situation, just not dealing with other stuff and just adding more layers to what hinders you from actually receiving your greatness, your blessing, your partner. So it's so many things that you have to, actually break down before you can, place the blame game on somebody. And that's pretty much all I have to say about it. So we've already talked about how do we get here from doing the sex. What does it feel like being here? It sucks, especially if you get postpartum depression and you do not have a support system, if you don't have funds, if you just don't have the resources. All of that sucks, because sometimes it's hard for us to let our pride down and say, I am hurting, I need the help. And that's from a former single mom, or even just now, sometimes it's hard to reach out and say, I am having a hard time today. I have a few good girlfriends that I can reach out and say, hey, momming, adulting, life is hard today, and it's okay to not be okay. Then we moved into career, job, family, and the sacrifices that you have to do when you're a single parent, single mom during those things. And then we also had to move into dating and living and how you choose wisely who will be around your child. And then we also went into graduating from single mom life and just moving into changing up your energy, things like that. I can say that a lot of things have changed about Raven over the years. And when people want to bring up who you were compared to who you are now, don't allow it. Some people like to live in the past and summarize you according to what their picture of you is, but their picture does not really matter. Quick story before I just hop on out this thing. I was a single mom back in 2010, and I was doing a duty. I was actually a boot camp instructor, and just take you through a day in the life of a single mom. I was getting up. I had to be at work at 4 some days. I would get up at 2:30. It was a 15-minute drive. I would drop my son off to the nanny. I wasn't rich, but I had to drop my son off to a nanny because daycares were not open by the time I had to get to work. And so I would pay the nanny to take my son to school. He was in like kindergarten, and I chose to send him to a private school because the district in that area was not the best district, and I needed him to thrive. I needed him to excel. I needed him to have an opportunity to be great. And so I would be at work from 04 some days until till like 8 o'clock at night or 10 o'clock. It just depended on what time we were actually putting the kids to sleep. The kids, I was referring to the recruits. I was a boot camp instructor. And so after we would put them to sleep, so say we're getting out of work, just say 8 o'clock. So I've worked from 04 to 8 o'clock. I'm on base. And now I'm finally going home, 15-minute drive. But on the way home, I have to pick my son up. And so I pick my son up and spend a little time with him, get him something to eat. Maybe the nanny had fed him already. She was a really great lady. Big up Miss Teasley. And she would feed him, and then I would get him home. I would bathe him. I just want to talk to him to see how his day was going. And I just remember, gosh, I was at work more than I was with my son. It was, gosh, that hurt. Because some days the nanny, she would pretty much just say, well, just let him stay here. I know you got to be at work at 4. It doesn't make sense to pick him up if you got off at 8 or you get off at 10 and you got to be right back there. Tune in next time to where we talk about something that is heavy on my chest. And if you have any questions, any comments, anything that you just drew from this topic, or you just want to share how you navigated the storm of, single mom life or single parent life, just things like that, then just share it.